There is a chance Britain's next Prime Minister will be a Muslim. But how did we get to this position? For that, we need to look back over the past few months and the events which have led to Boris Johnson's resignation. With the resignation of Boris Johnson this week, the UK will now have a fourth Prime Minister in just 6 years. David Cameron resigned after the Remain campaign lost the 2016 EU referendum. Theresa May took over, but eventually resigned in 2019 after failing to get her Brexit deal with the EU through Parliament. Boris then took over and won a huge victory in the 2019 general election and agreed a deal to take the UK out of the EU. Nevertheless, the Partygate scandal, whereby parties and gatherings of Tory staff took place during the COVID pandemic, and the Prime Minister being accused of lying about such arrangements not being allowed, had a severely damaging impact. He was fined by the police and subject to a confidence vote by Tory MPs, in which a staggering 41% of his MPs voted against him. Although he survived this embarrassing affair, the recent scandal relating to Chris Pincher proved to be the final straw for Boris's allies. Pincher is alleged to have groped other male Tory politicians. These are fresh allegations. However, there have been other allegations of inappropriate sexual behaviour in the past by this man. On the 1st of July, the public were told that the Prime Minister had not been aware of any allegations made against Chris Pincher, and this is why he was promoted to Deputy Chief Whip back in February. However, this proved to be incorrect, and Number 10 stated that Boris was aware of the allegations made against Pincher in the past, which resulted in these incredible scenes.
Allegations about Chris Pincher's past behaviour. Yesterday, Number 10 says the Prime Minister's memory was jogged as he was reminded that he'd been told about a 2019 investigation into groping by Chris Pincher, which had upheld the complaint.
Last week, when fresh allegations arose, the Prime Minister did not immediately recall the conversation in late 2019 about this incident. As soon as he was reminded, the Number 10 press office corrected their public lies. The position is that the Prime Minister acted with probity at all times.
But treading the tightrope between loyalty and integrity has become impossible in recent months. I also believe a team is as good as its team captain, and that a captain is as good as his or her team. The events of recent months have made it increasingly difficult to be in that team. And at some point, we have to conclude that enough is enough. I believe that point is now. But I do fear that the reset button can only work so many times.
Nadim Zahawi, Chancellor for 24 hours, has now written to the Prime Minister and told him to go. This is the letter that Nadim Zahawi, the new Chancellor, has sent Boris Johnson. He says, yesterday I made clear to the Prime Minister alongside my colleagues in Number 10 there was only one direction this was going and he should leave with dignity.
So that brings us to the question of who the new Prime Minister will be, and will Britain have its first Muslim PM? We just saw former Health Secretary Sajid Javid and newly appointed Chancellor Nadim Zahawi tell Boris to resign. These two men are the most senior Muslims in the government, and according to the bookies, are 6th and 7th favourite for the job. Until a few days ago, Javid was Health Secretary, and previously had the roles of Chancellor and Home Secretary. So clearly he has enough senior roles in government to make the transition to PM. He has received criticism from Muslims in the past, who accuse him of not being Muslim enough. Zahawi is less well known, though he is now Chancellor and previously had been Secretary of State for Education. He was born into a Kurdish family in Iraq, but fled to the UK in his childhood when Saddam Hussein was in power. With the two men put as 6th and 7th favourites to be the next PM, it would appear to be more possible, rather than probable, that Britain's next Prime Minister will be a Muslim. Something more likely to happen would be the next PM being from an Asian background. Until a few days ago, Rishi Sunak was British Chancellor. He was previously Finance Minister, and upon being elected, he discussed how he was a proud Hindu. Sunak is the bookies' favourite to replace Boris. It remains to be seen whether the fact he was also fined for the Partygate scandal will damage his chances. To be perfectly honest, I have no idea who the next PM will be. But whoever it is will be taking on the role in an extremely difficult climate, both domestically and globally. Thanks for listening. Bye.